Welcome to Contemplations with the Body. My name is Deanna Lynn. In this series, I am taking my 15 years of knowledge and experience with health, wellness, and the body, and I'm pairing it with my contemplative journey in the gene keys and human design. Each transit, I will share my contemplations to help you become a detective of your body to discover what your soul's trying to align you to. Our reality is a mere reflection of what we hold in our physical body. It's like stepping into your body when you leave the house every day. So every day you get to become a detective of your body. Are you ready to discover what your body is showing you in your reality and what your reality is showing you that you still hold in your physical body? Welcome to Transit 41. We are moving from the frequency of fantasy to anticipation to emanation, and it's connected to the body through the adrenals and the amino acid methionine. And this transit is so dear to my heart because it is part of my activation sequence. It's actually my radiance. And so this dictates my physical health. And I've seen this story play out my whole life with my adrenals and my nervous system. And I'm really excited to dive into this contemplation with you because it just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. So I hope you enjoy this video. So let's start with the more sciencey type stuff here. Okay, so when we're talking about methionine, it is considered the initiator. It's actually an essential amino acid that is found in the body that is used to make the proteins. And our whole body is made up of amino acids and proteins. So this is what creates everything in the body. And we can look at it from genetics. It's also called the start codon. It is the code of ACG, and whenever you see that in regards to your cells and your DNA, it's actually giving instructions to your physical body to do whatever shows up after the ACG. So it's like the code that activates in your body saying to follow these instructions after it. So it is the creation of everything. It is the fire starter in the physical body. When we're looking at genetics at a whole, in the past years and years and years ago, it used to be believed that we were a victim of our genes. And to some extent, people still are believing that because they don't realize that they are a creator of their reality and a creator of their physical health in their body. So we thought that if our parents had some type of dis-ease, that it's hereditary, so that means that we're going to experience that. And so what happens there is, well, you become a victim of your genes. And then the more in the later years, epigenetics was discovered. And so in that teaching, it says that we actually have control over the expression of our genes. We get to control if the genes are turned on or they're turned off. So from that standpoint, we are no longer a victim of our genes. And that's what this whole story of this gate is all about, is the genes and the expression of them, and that we do have control over them. In my contemplations, I've discovered that the expression of the genes is connected to our nervous system. So when we are in our sympathetic nervous system, we are in a state of fear. We are in the shadow frequency. And from that space, your body can't heal. Your body can't grow and it cannot expand. And so what happens is when we're sitting in that space of the sympathetic nervous system and in fear, we are actually either our cells are just dying off and they are not recreating, or they're being recreated unhealthy. So that means what happens is we're pulling in the past version of ourselves and we're recreating it in this present moment because we're asking those cells that have dis-ease or are unhealthy and are covered in shadows, we're asking them to be recreated in this now moment when the cells are being regenerated. So we have the power to tell our cells, are we going to recreate unhealthy cells or are we going to create new healthy cells? And the way that we can do this is by calming our nervous system, by facing our fears and living in the present moment and stepping into a space of anticipation. So not trying to guess what's going to show up in your reality in this now moment, being open for infinite possibilities to show up. And in that space, we're not bringing the past old unhealthy cells into this now moment, so they're not going to be recreated. And so that's how you can actually shift and change your health, is by anticipating what's going to show up in your reality and not be living in a state of fear. Our cells are being regenerated and recreated every now moment. And so this gives you the opportunity to create a brand new body, a brand new health, a brand new life in every now moment with how you anticipate your current reality, how you're perceiving it. And science says that every 7 to 10 years, we have a whole new body, because every portion of the body recreates at a different level. Each cell regenerates at a different speed. So to give you an example how often things are regenerated in our physical body, mind you, the information I'm giving you is from Google, and I haven't actually researched this myself. So this is more just to kind of get you into your own contemplation about your physical body and what shows up in your reality. So the structure of our body, our bones, is recreated every 10 years, and our muscles are recreated every 25 years. Our blood, depending on if it's a red blood cell or a white blood cell, that is recreated every 4 months to every year. The heart is regenerated every 10 years. The lungs are regenerated every 3 weeks. The stomach is regenerated every couple days. And the liver is regenerated every 5 months. So feel free to do your research if you want to really discover. Where my contemplation went with this is, well, if I'm living in this fantasy of this shadow, what fantasies am I cycling through every 10 to 15 years? What fantasies am I cycling through every couple days? What fantasies am I cycling through every year? And tying that to specific parts of my body to see, well, how is that actually affecting my physical health when I am living in that fantasy, where I'm not stepping in and into anticipation and allowing that portion of my body to be regenerated with healthy cells. Now looking at the shadow patterns, we have a repressive pattern, which is dreamy, and we have the reactive pattern, which is hyperactive. And as we tie those into the adrenals, we can start to see this patterning show up and how it's actually affecting your physical health. During my contemplations with the repressive shadow, the dreamy, I see it connected to the nervous system through the sympathetic nervous system pattern of either freezing or going into flight mode. Because what happens is as you escape internally into your fantasy, you're disconnecting from your external reality. You're disconnecting to what your physical body actually needs. And your body is still responding to the environment, and you're escaping into this internal reality that you're not actually facing your fears, but your body is still responding to these fears. So then you're not actually taking care of your physical body the way that it needs to. And so with that, you're affecting your adrenals because your body is still going through that stress response, because you're not there to protect it and to calm your nervous system and to tell your body that it is safe and that you love it and that you are taking care of it. And then it can also affect your digestion, and it can affect your vascular system. All right, so now we have the reactive pattern of being hyperactive, and oh my goodness, this has been my life until I got to the point where my adrenals completely burnt out and I wasn't able to take this hyperactive actions anymore. So it's connected to the nervous system through the fight mode. It's having this big dream, this big vision, and pushing so hard because the mind can't be complete in this present moment when you're in the shadow. It's always pushing for the dream. And so what happens is, in this fantasy world that you're living in, your physical body doesn't have any limitations. But in reality, you have limitations. You only have so much energy to expel in a day, and you need to make sure that you rest and recover and take care of your body. But when you're in this reactive energy, you're moving off of adrenaline to reach for your goals, and you will keep pushing. If you have any ounce of energy and you can move at all, you will be driving towards your goal. This shadow becomes a slave driver by the mind, and you completely forget your physical body. But if you allow it to get into that space where you completely go into adrenal burnout, adrenal fatigue, it takes a really long time to recover from that, because first you have to shift yourself out of the shadow frequency and into the gift frequency, and then continue staying in that space so the cells can regenerate and refuel the adrenals and the kidneys that you've depleted as well, so that you can then take action. But you have to fill your cup back up after you've shifted into that gift frequency before you're going to be able to take all those actions. Or else what will happen is you will just go shift back into that patterning. Oh, I've got some energy. All right, my mind can't live in this present moment, so I need to drive towards my goal. And then you burn yourself out again, and it just ends up being this cycle. So how can you shift yourself out of that hyperactive energy and allow your mind to be in the now and feel complete in the now? And that is through the gift of anticipation. All right, tip number 1. Get connected to your nervous system. Really check in. What is going on with your adrenals? Are you in freeze mode, where you're not taking any physical action and you're not even really taking care of yourself? Are you in flight mode, where you're completely numb and just disconnecting from your external reality and your physical body and just going internally and just living in your fantasy world? Or are you in fight mode, where you're taking this incessant action and you just can't stop, that you can't rest in the now? Your brain won't allow you to take a break. Tip number 2, where is your energy coming from? Is it coming from your life force? Is it energy flowing through you? Is it coming from the food that you eat? Or is it coming from your adrenals? How does that energy feel in your physical body? Is it calm energy or is it nervous energy? Step number 3, are you facing your fears? Really take a check to see, are you bringing your fears into this present moment, which is having you recreate unhealthy cells in your body? Step number 4, step into anticipation. Really contemplate. How can you step into the energy of contemplation in this present moment so that you can change your perception of your reality, which is then going to change how your cells are being expressed? Step number 5, how can you support your adrenal system? How can you calm your nervous system so your body will be able to relax in this now moment and not pull in fears from the past, which is going to have your adrenals come online? So there's certain supplements out there that are specifically to help the adrenals, things like ashwagandha or rhodiola. There's also other supplements out there that will help calm your nervous system, so you can do some research. I personally like to use magnesium and melatonin combinations to help me at night to calm my nervous system so I can get really good sleep. You can also try restorative yoga poses, so yin yoga, anything that's very calming. I like to do qigong, movements that are specifically flowing the energy from my kidneys to restore my kidney energy. You can try breath work that is specifically going to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and relaxing system, and just making sure that you're not over expending energy that you don't have. Tip number 6, take a look at my contemplations in my video for transit 38, because that's also connected to the adrenals, and you will get a lot of amazing information from that video. Thank you for joining me on the journey of contemplating with your body. I would love to hear what comes up for you as you tune into the transit and your body. Feel free to share it with me. You can email me at deanna@deannalynn.ca, sending you lots of high vibes on your journey within.